Welcome in to Greenville Grit, Greenville residents in touch on 103.7 WTIB. This is the local show that keeps you connected and in touch with the issues that affect what's happening in your community. Greenville Grit is sponsored by Ribeyes, Kid Construction, and Greenville Toyota. Now, here are your hosts for Greenville Grit, Terry Williams and Michael Overton.
Hello and welcome to Greenville Grit today. I'm Terry Williams here with PJ Conley again today. It's nice to be with you again today.
Thank you for bringing me back again.
No, we're getting some good information out to our Greenville citizens, and today we have Jim Blunt with us as our guest, and we're going to be talking about the STEAM Partnership. And I can't wait to hear more about it and what's going on in our uptown area down near the riverfront. I think that's what that has to do with. So we'll be giving you some great information in just a bit. But first, we want to thank our sponsors that have been with us for a very long time, and we could not put this together without them. So we want to thank Greenville Toyota. If you are looking for a new or used vehicle, if you're a first-time car buyer, they have lease programs. They have some special financing going on right now. So they are family-owned and operated for 25 years. So contact Greenville Toyota at greenvilletoyota.com, or you can call them at 252-321-3000. We also want to thank Ribeyes Steakhouse. They have been with us as well for quite a long time. They have a location here in Greenville on Fire Tower Road. You can visit them there. They have wonderful steaks, great salad bar. And they would love to entertain a party if you want to have a birthday party or any type of celebration. They have room facility there. They also have a location in Williamston. If you're in that area traveling through, you can stop there and have the same great food. And we also want to thank Overton Residential Properties. They have been with us for a while. Michael is still continuing to sponsor the show as well. OvertonResidential.com, or you can call us at 252-375-8620. If you are buying or selling a home, contact me or Trey Williams or Michelle Connors. We'll be glad to help you in any way. So we're going to take a short break and come back and talk to Jim about what's going on in our uptown area.
Kids have the craziest ideas about food. Where do they get this stuff? Like eating Brussels sprouts helps you hit home runs. And eating carrots gives you X-ray vision. It's nuts. And I honestly have no idea where my daughter got this notion that broccoli is the official food of professional ballerinas. Kids, the only reason my 4-year-old loves cantaloupe is because he's convinced it comes from the moon.
Run, small step for man, lots of potassium for mankind.
And the other day when my oldest came up to me and said, "Mom, will eating peas and carrots really help me pull off a fakey frontside ollie with a twist?" I look him in the eye and say, "It can't hurt, honey. It can't hurt."
Moms everywhere are finding creative ways to help their kids eat 5 servings of fruit and vegetables a day. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov. Brought to you by the USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council.
In the beloved fairy tale classic, Beauty and the Beast, Belle is imprisoned in the castle of a mysterious beast. But with the assistance of the castle's enchanted staff, the two become unlikely friends, discover that true beauty is found within, and they live happily ever after.
Today, our happily ever afters are being threatened by the fact that nearly 1 in 3 children in America are overweight or obese. Now more than ever, it's time to make good nutrition and physical activity part of your family's daily lifestyle. Do things like eat dinner together, add fruits and veggies to every meal, save treats for special occasions, and get up and play an hour each day. Be our guest to healthy living and visit letsmove.gov to learn more. That's letsmove.gov. This message has been brought to you by Let's Move, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. Last night, had a wonderful meeting in Uptown with the Uptown Greenville Association about the state of the district. And wonderful things are happening in our area. We could do a whole couple of hours on the things
For sure.
because that was how long it lasted last night too. It was long, but it needed to be to cover everything that's going on. It's very exciting, and I know people sometimes say, all you do is talk about Uptown, but Uptown is the core of a lot of what gets started. But a lot of the things that are happening are going to have an effect on the entire city of Greenville, even though they're starting, there in the Uptown area. That being said, a lot of conversation, PJ, last night was about the riverfront and things that need to be utilized down there. And things have begun to be planned, but it's very expensive. And so, a lot of talk still and planning still is in the works, I'm sure. But share with us a little bit between you and Jim what exactly is going on and what the purpose of our conversation is today.
Well, we're fortunate to have somebody like Jim that has a vision, and he's fortunate to be a part of a group, Tim Elliott out of, I believe, Baltimore, Maryland, who has decided to invest in our city. He's part of the Sidewalk Development Group, which is purchasing the police and fire parking lot over there, and you guys are getting ready to do development over there. And during our planning session, you came before us and did a presentation on, your vision of something great that could be, an asset for our city. And, kind of the reason we wanted to have you on today was to give us a little bit more information about this. It's a STEAM center. And, one of the locations, and I know it's been a little controversial, is down on the town common. But, the concept was really kind of a neat thing. And, some of the partners that are playing in this, are incredible. Some of the names that Tim was able to share with us that he's worked with. I don't know if you could just kind of give us a little bit of an update and let us know kind of a little bit more about the project. I thought it was really neat. I mean, I can tell you that sitting there with the other council members, we were sitting there, and after sitting at the tables for 5 hours or whatever we were sitting there for, we were starting to fade away a little bit, and then all of a sudden Tim comes up there, gives us a presentation. We were all just, ready to go. It was amazing. So I'd love for you to give that same presentation right now if you could.
Well, I appreciate it, and last night was really great.
It was.
And I can't say enough good things about Uptown Greenville organization. I've been very fortunate to be a board member the last few years, but thank you, PJ. We've been very blessed to have Tim Elliott in this town for probably going on 4 or 5 years now. And actually the project will officially close on the 16th, so I know you'll be glad to get the money for the city. And then they'll hopefully break ground in April for this sidewalk development project on Dickinson and Reed Circle. But Tim is a very interesting guy. He's got an architect background, but has gone into the development business, which really brings together a unique perspective when he goes to a city. So anybody can go to a city and buy a piece of land and build student housing or young professional housing or market rate and then leave. Tim is not. That is not his mindset. His mindset is to really take the vision a little further. So over the years, he's been watching Greenville grow, going through its challenges and also seeing some successes. And he felt that what's missing here is trying to make Greenville a regional draw. He said there's really nothing to bring people here. We do great at bringing football games, Pirates Fest, Free Boot Friday.
Right.
But he said, we've got to figure out a way. We got to have some formula to bring people here. And so what he came up with was a really unique project. He has in his Rolodex some team members that worked at Disney and still do, but they contract back and forth. So this is not a Disney related project, but they specialize in STEAM, which is science, technology, entertainment, art, and math. And that's a very hot topic right now. And also, East Carolina and Magnolia Arts expressed an interest in the performance side of that. So he came up with a concept that would be a STEAM center on one side and a performing arts center, theater on the other side. So you would blend in two things. And I will say that the renderings that you saw at council, there were 5 renderings, and it started with nothing, more of a performing arts center, science center type looking thing, and then ended up with a pirate ship. We've had there's a lot of interesting comments on the pirate ship, bless your heart. But I think what he's trying to do, he's really trying to capture the pirate theme.
Right.
Blackbeard, I think Disney's, their visioning involves Blackbeard memorabilia, underwater excavation, things like that. So that's
very
where we ended
important
up.
to our region.
Oh, absolutely.
Which pulls that together, making it more regional.
Yeah. And it's like he said. It's like the speaker said last night. He said, think bold, think broad.
Right.
I mean, my business is buy and renovate small apartment buildings and duplexes, and that's all I'm capable of doing financially and
Right.
physically. But you need to bring people from the outside that come in that can give you these types of
Right.
ideas.
Right. It sounds just really exciting. Well, that's what he said, you're right, last night. And that's what it's going to take to get things done in the town common area, because there are so many different people from so many areas that want their own things done. It's not,
Sure.
It's going to be a challenge to make it, like it can't be everything to everybody, but to get the most of what we can for the most amount of people that will be acceptable. But I think in order to attract the younger people, to make them want to go down there, it is going to have to be something new and innovative. It cannot be just the same old park. Not that a park isn't great. I think it's great. But the park we've got down there now is not the same old park. So we've already started with a revolution, so to speak, in the Trillium Park that's there.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
That's something different. So that theme should be continued on into new, innovative thoughts about what we can do with that area to make it more up-to-date, more attractive to newcomers coming in, and to keeping our younger people interested in what's happening. I think we'll also see it spread, like he said last night. It should start, and this is a great place for it to start, is there in our uptown area in the town common. But as Greenville grows and gets bigger, everybody can go to the town common.
That's right.
We hope they won't all fit. We hope that we'll have
Right.
these sections all throughout our town. And they'll have to go, we'll have to develop them. We hope that happens. That would be just awesome, that our population grows that much, that we have to offer that.
Yeah.
And that's what he talked about last night. So I was thrilled about that. But we are going to have to take a few chances. We can't just
Yes.
be completely guarded. Of course, taking chances is expensive. And people, I know, like with the city council, you're not spending your own money. You're not spending Tim's organization money or your money. So I know that you are guarded with how you spend it. But look at what has happened in other places. Look at the proven track records from other cities and look what they've already accomplished in a short amount of time. And then let's try to copy some of that. Don't always try to
Absolutely.
reinvent everything.
Yeah, and I think that brings
You
up
know.
a good point too. Is we look at the local cities we have. We have New Bern, which built a convention center and a hotel on Union Park,
Right.
right on the riverfront, and we have Little Washington that built a estuarium right
Right.
on the riverfront. Now those were built on park land,
Right.
and so I'm not saying we built a hotel and convention center, but I think that when the council passed a motion last summer about looking at public-private partnerships, and I think they limited it to entertainment and
Right.
educational type entities, and I think that's perfect. I mean,
Right.
I don't think anybody wants to build condos or hotels on
Right.
there, so we
Yeah.
would limit it to that.
Well,
Right.
and I think it's important to point out too that you're not talking about taking the entire town common. I mean, it's a small swath.
That's
of
right.
it. And the nice thing is too, the positioning of your proposal, wasn't a position that's going to fit in with the master plan for the town common. Because we just finished up that town common master plan, and I mean it's very detailed. It's a very nice layout, and it wouldn't affect anything. In
Right.
that. I mean, it is right in the middle, but there's plenty of space for the civic building that they suggested to put down there. There's plenty of space. It's far enough away from the moving shoreline that's down there. The amphitheater still could go there. Of course, you've got the kayak launch that they're working on right now,
Sure.
and the new pier. So I mean, it was placed, in my opinion, in a good location. And like I said, it's not the whole park.
Right.
I don't want people to get the impression that
You're
we're
taking
going
the whole
out there,
park
we're
over.
taking the whole
Yeah.
park away. It's a neat concept. I think it's something different, which is nice. And sometimes it takes outside ideas to bring things to our city.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that brings up a good point. You're probably talking 3.5 acres, maybe 4 acres.
And it's 23 acre.
Yeah, it's 23 acre park,
place,
and and when people talk about the riverfront, I know it is a controversial subject, but we look at what the river can do. It's mesmerizing. Fire and water. People always
Yeah,
get attracted to
that's
fire and
right.
water, and this design can be really tastefully done. I
Right.
mean, I think that with a lot of public input, it can really be something that everybody can be proud of.
So what are some of what does the design consist of in the actual building?
So
What will
the-
be offered
Yeah,
for
so
people to participate
the
in?
conceptual design right now, which was shared at council
Right.
for the retreat, you would walk in, and one section of it would be a STEM center, and it's STEAM now with the adding
Right.
art, and that STEAM center you would have you would walk through the exhibits and go through, and STEAM is different from Science Center. It's more actively involved in the projects, and the individual that PJ was talking about earlier, the individuals actually they specialize in STEM and entertainment.
Right.
So they understand how to keep these children
mix it
excited
together.
and motivated. Once they finish that up, the experience, they can walk next door to a theater, and it wouldn't be an IMAX theater. They're very expensive to run.
Right.
It would be more of a theater screen that has 400 to 500 seats in there, and they watch a movie about the experience, and that's kind of what the
Right.
trend is right
Okay.
now. And that would double as a black box theater where they could have performing arts shows and also operas and Magnolia. In fact, there was a letter in the editor to today from Collis Moore from Magnolia Arts. Now, he wasn't speaking on behalf of Magnolia
Right.
Arts, but just talking
Commenting
about how
on
they
it.
would like to use that theater,
Sure.
for their shows. So that's basic. But I would think outside, a terrace upstairs where you
Right.
can overlook the river, where you can have dining and maybe a glass of wine,
Right.
coffee, ice cream. It really needs to be inclusive for everybody. And like PJ said, there is it's about a 12,000 square foot municipal structure that's called for the plan.
Right.
And it's 2 stories. And I mean, this would it may be a little larger, but not too much, and
Right.
you could really fulfill those needs there.
Just think of the amount of people too. I mean, there's so many different things that go into a center like this, and I mean, think of how many people that would draw down there. I mean, look at the Trillium Park down there. We used to make jokes about you'd walk along or you'd be driving along First Street and you look over and you'd count how many people are there. There'd be 5 people
Right.
in the park. And now you go over there on any given day. Especially when school's out. You could have 100 children,
It is
over
amazing.
there. I mean,
has
it's just
been.
I congratulate y'all for the work you did on
Yeah.
that. That's a wonderful success story.
Yeah, it was great for the community, but and that translates to if you get that many people down there with the STEAM Center, just to think what those people are going to do. They're going to be down there. They're going to be spending money in the retail stores. They're going to be spending money at the restaurants. They're going to be going through Uptown, and think about the urbanization that's taking place with all the new apartments and multifamily units that'll be down there too. So all those people will be there, and everything's becoming walkable. That's great for that community, and it just, to me, it enhances more of Uptown, and it's just another piece of the puzzle, I think, because for Uptown to get where it needs to be,
Yes.
There's so many aspects. You have, you have the people that are going to be living there at the new complexes that we have. You need to have the jobs there for them to work there and be able to walk to work, and then you also need a vibrant downtown area where they can go down there and they can go to a bar, they can go to a restaurant and spend time and enjoy doing that, and go to some of the retail places as well. So. The project itself brings the people down there, and I mean I've been really, really excited about anything that can bring people there because everybody wins.
Absolutely. And to bring this to capture that point, we have to take a step back because this is all a discussion, and it really wasn't voted until about 10 days ago at your retreat, for the council's retreat. So the next step is to form a steering committee, which we have, and that consists of Dr. Paul Cunningham, Dean of the Med School,
Right.
Dr. Chris Butto, Dean of the School of Fine Arts at ECU, Dr. Todd Gould, VP of Public Administration over at Pitt Community, and Bruce Middleton, the Director of STEM at STEM East here. And then we've got a couple more corporations that'll be
Right.
coming on board, but the feasibility study will probably take 8 months to 10 months, and that'll be a very important time.
That's right.
The numbers don't lie, and if the numbers come back saying that this may not work, we'll have to revisit the project. So there's a risk in everything.
Sure.
And I hope, I didn't mean to interrupt you, I hope that the entire city of Greenville citizens will not think this is just for the Uptown area. It just happens to be located in Uptown because our
Riverfront,
is in
yeah.
Uptown. But it will be for everybody, and it will benefit businesses and residents all over our city, because like we're in real estate and we bring people to tour. They want to know what there is for my family to do, no matter where they reside, in what neighborhood, and if they're Brook Valley or they're in Tucker Estates or anywhere, or even in the Winterville area. It doesn't have to be. We're so close together. Wherever they live, what is there for us to do here? And then I always take them on a tour, of course, through our uptown, because people coming from larger cities want to know, what does the core of your city look like? And so we bring them through, and I always tell them we've got big plans. I don't know what they always are, but we've got big plans for the town common, for our river. So when you come here, you'll be able to see it grow like we've been able to see the rest of our center city grow. And so they do look for that. So it isn't just to benefit the uptown area. It will be a benefit for the entire area. And so I hope that they'll realize that. So everybody needs to get on board to support it, not just the businesses or the area, right in the center city. It's that important.
It's something I think that's really important, that Jim's pointed out too, is there's a lot of moving parts to this, and there's a lot of different organizations that are going to be a part of this, and so there's going to be a lot of community input. Absolutely. As far as the university, as far as citizens, as far as the city. I mean, let's be honest. The city can't finance this on their own.
That's right.
I mean, it's not, and we're going to need to partner up with some of the great organizations that we have here in Greenville. So my hope is that as this thing moves forward, we'll be able to come to a consensus, and hopefully, if, like you said, if it's financially feasible for us to be able to go through this, everyone will be able to have a voice in this. I know there's some people that are very upset right now. And maybe through this process, as it gets moving forward, maybe things will come up that will ease some of their tension and ease their concerns. I mean, it's not easy to lose a park. When you're used to it and you really love that park, it's not easy, and I understand that. I've seen it. I've received the emails that people are not happy about losing parts of town common, and I mean, I understand their concerns. My hope is that at some point, if this does move forward and it becomes a financial investment that the city and the partners decide is good for our city, that some of those tensions will be released, and maybe they will be able to be there and voice their concerns, and maybe it'll be something that Tim and your steering committee will be able to answer some of their questions.
Absolutely. Well, and that's a great point. This goes back to about bringing people to the city. I met with most of the executives at the larger corporations here, and I was pretty astonished about the number of executives that commute in from Raleigh to Greenville, and we've got an issue there that we really need to rectify, and this will help from a recruitment standpoint.
That's right.
It'll help Brian Floyd at Vidant and some of the other executives at Patheon and Maine Pharma. And you're right. This is going to be a project that everybody's going to have to do some lifting on. It's a public-private project. Sidewalk Development is not coming in and writing a check for this.
Right.
This is pure 501c3. It'll have to be state and federal funding, city funding, private funding, foundation funding. I mean, it's a lot of work.
That's right.
And I want to point something out. This is not a big money maker for a developer.
Yeah.
This is a real project that's really helping give back to the community.
It's a heart project.
Absolutely.
It
And those
is
are the
for the
ones that are the most
community.
expensive usually too.
I know.
And one more thing I want to point out too, there's been a lot of people calling about what's going to happen to Go Science. And I've been in discussions with Emily Jarvis. So Emily's taking over Go Science. She's with the Time for Science, and I'm not speaking on behalf of Emily, but we have open dialogue that as they get that organization finds its footing, but Go Science does that can be rolled right into this. So we're not trying to put anybody out of business, or we want them to do well in the near term, because this project will probably take 3 or 4 years before it even ever finish if it all moves well.
Speaking about people who work here and live out of town, I mean, there are even some professors and all that teach at ECU and all that still haven't really completely, they made the move here for various reasons. Some, their families just didn't want to move. Maybe they had children in school, or we don't have the full offering of everything that they can get, and we don't have what Raleigh has to offer. We have other things, and so hopefully with things like this coming up, they'll want to maybe finally make that move too, which would help us all very much.
Absolutely.
So I think maybe we'll take a quick break right now and come back in a few minutes and wrap up our discussion. It's been a great information today about our riverfront and what's coming up. Be back in a minute.
Kids have the craziest ideas about food. Where do they get this stuff? Like eating Brussels sprouts helps you hit home runs. And eating carrots gives you X-ray vision? It's nuts. And I honestly have no idea where my daughter got this notion that broccoli is the official food of professional ballerinas. Kids, the only reason my 4-year-old loves cantaloupe is because he's convinced it comes from the moon.
One small step for man, lots of potassium for mankind.
And the other day when my oldest came up to me and said, "Mom, will eating peas and carrots really help me pull off a fakey frontside ollie with a twist?" I look him in the eye and say, "It can't hurt, honey. It can't hurt."
Moms everywhere are finding creative ways to help their kids eat 5 servings of fruit and vegetables a day. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov. Brought to you by the USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council.
In the beloved fairy tale classic, Beauty and the Beast, Belle is imprisoned in the castle of a mysterious beast. But with the assistance of the castle's enchanted staff, the two become unlikely friends, discover that true beauty is found within, and they live happily ever after.
Today, our happily ever afters are being threatened by the fact that nearly 1 in 3 children in America are overweight or obese. Now more than ever, it's time to make good nutrition and physical activity part of your family's daily lifestyle. Do things like eat dinner together, add fruits and veggies to every meal, save treats for special occasions, and get up and play an hour each day. Be our guest to healthy living and visit letsmove.gov to learn more. That's letsmove.gov. This message has been brought to you by Let's Move, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to our Greenville Grit show. We've had a great conversation today. It's very exciting. I'm excited to see what's coming up and the discussion. And it is going to take planning. It's not going to happen overnight, and lots of sure public forums to get everybody's opinion. I think one thing which was even into the discussion, I was on the original Town Common Master Plan a long time ago, and even just to make it a park with still honoring the Sycamore Hills, still doing some things that we wanted to do. Back then, this has been 10 years ago, the budget was $13 million then. And just to do trees and lighting and just some things. So I can only imagine what the budget could be, and it will take a lot of people. The city can't, possibly do it. But I do understand, because even when I was thinking back then, if we could add a restaurant or we could add a boutique hotel, I'm not saying that we're doing that, but how can we keep it looking like still have a park feel? And I think that they'll take all that into consideration. A 2-story building, I don't know what you can do with it, but I'm sure with trees and lighting and things can be done to still give you the look, that people would want and could appreciate and still enjoy it. And the other parts of the park can remain in areas that, would accommodate what they're looking for too.
Absolutely. There's been some interesting comments about the pirate ship diagram.
Yeah, I'd like to see those.
And PJ's seen more than one diagram, and that was just to capture a theme.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that with a lot of public input, an outside experience.
Right.
I've had a lot of people say, "Why would you put a structure that has an indoor experience on a riverfront?
Uh-huh.
Why would you waste that green space?" It's about the placement of where it is. It's on the riverfront.
Right.
Tim's always told me, he said, "I don't want to do this project back in the city, back in the grid area." He said, "You bury it back there, it's just not going to have the same effect."
Exactly.
And his office is on the Inner Harbor of Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
He's been there 25 years. He's watched that Inner Harbor grow. And the first ever project on the Inner Harbor 40 years ago probably, was a Children's Science Center. So he watches the buses go in and
Wow.
Well, I know Dan mentioned
buses.
something about bringing boats, and I know, that river isn't set up to bring certain types of vessels on the water. It's not. It'd have to be dredged. It could be a little bit of
small
a
outboards.
nightmare about that part. But there are other things that we can do: the kayaks, the tubing, the smaller canoes, the smaller boating, maybe even some small motorboat type things. I don't know if that mixes, but there are lots of things you can do there on the water too, not just looking at the water. So I'm excited about all of that. So.
Yeah, it's exciting. The nice thing is that we're sitting here and we're having this conversation, that we have opportunities. Because think of all the communities that are around us that don't have the privilege, don't have the opportunity that we have.
Right.
It's neat
We're
that
blessed.
we've got somebody that's from outside of our area that's willing to, invest and help us move forward with potential projects like this.
Right.
And the key is, we want this to be good for the entire city.
That's
We
right.
don't want this to be good for just a few select people. This is a project, in my opinion, if we can make it work, and if the city's interested in doing this, it could be really good for our community.
And not only that, it could be a regional draw. You get people waking up in
That's
Williamston and New Bern and Little Washington and Ahoskie, and they want to come in on a Saturday and
That's
have
right.
an experience.
Spend the day in Greenville.
Or we have a very poor rural counties.
That's right.
And they can come in and bring
That's
the school
right.
buses in.
Right.
We thank you very much for being with us
Thank you for
today
having
and
me.
explaining all of this to us and getting everybody excited about what's coming up in the city. And we want to thank our sponsors again, Greenville Toyota, Ribeye Steakhouse, Overton Residential Properties. Visit us Friday night, 6:30, and Saturday mornings at 9:30 and hear all this great information again. And we will see you next week.